Hi, boys and girls. Welcome back. Welcome back to the wonderful world of fractions, or fraction mania, like we sometimes call it in the classroom. We just started learning about fractions, and I want to continue with that learning and review what we've done. So let's start with the fraction 3/4. And the most important thing to remember when you first begin is that these numbers have a name. There's a reason why one is on the top and one is on the bottom. So the first number, 3, that is the numerator. It's called the numerator. The number on the bottom is the denominator. And there are many different ways that we could remember the numerators first on the top and the denominator is on the bottom. One way that I remember it is I think of a new day, hence the sunshine here in the background. And I think of my sunglasses, new day. I'm going to type that for you. And new days are always very exciting, aren't they? New day, numerator, then denominator. So you can use that strategy or any one that you come up with to remember the numerator is on the top, denominator is on the bottom. And the other really important thing to remember about these two numbers is that the bottom is the whole number. So this is the whole. And then the top number is a part or a piece of the whole. Because a fraction is really showing a fraction of a whole. For example, if I had an apple, I had one whole apple. I have not eaten it yet. That's one whole. If I break it into pieces or I cut it into sections, each section is going to be a fraction of a whole. It's not a whole apple anymore. It's a piece of a whole. So that's kind of what we think of when we think of fractions. I know you've been finding fractions all the time in your everyday life, so make sure you keep on doing that, and maybe we could even share some up here for our audience. Okay, so we have 3/4. 3/4. The other thing I want to remind you of is the way that we say a fraction. So I'm going to bring this up here for us. When we say a fraction, we say 3/4, 3/4, or 3 out of 4. Okay, so if I had 4 apples and 3 of them were green, perhaps, and 1 was red, I could say I have 3 out of 4 of my apples are green, or 3/4 of the apples are green. Here's a little fun way to remember these two. Say it. Think of those teeth moving. And then writing it, think of your eye, or seeing it. You usually would see 3/4. Sometimes that slash, that sideways slash, it's the same thing as a division bar. Normal way, 3/4. Sometimes you see 3:4. So that's important to remember. And then sometimes 3 out of 4. Okay, so all the different ways you may encounter fractions in your life. And boys and girls, if you have any questions for me, make sure you go to your Gmail account and either chat with me and we'll talk about any questions you have, or save them for tomorrow. And we'll definitely talk about them then. Stay tuned for the next fraction video. Our next one will be looking at fractions and drawing what they look like, or looking at a drawing of some fractions and putting it back into numbers. So very exciting stuff. See you next time.